Welcome, everyone, to episode number 60 of Talkin Kentucky. My name is Coleman Scott. His name is Caden Holmes. I'm in Frankfort, Kentucky, and Caden is in Hanson, Kentucky, as always. And today we're very lucky to be joined by Freddie Maggard, who has graciously agreed to come on our show for a few minutes. I'm one of his biggest fans. I've been following him not only as a Kentucky football player, but also as a podcaster and football analyst and writer for Kentucky Sports Radio, who Kate and I are big fans of KSR. So Freddie, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening and reading to our content. You know, we work really hard. I mean, the whole staff does. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that you can't imagine. So we're just ready to go to media days and get to work. It's what we do.
Absolutely. Well, Caden here is an alum of Madisonville North Hopkins, same school as Drew Franklin. So we got our own Drew Franklin here on the show. So we're big Drew Franklin fans.
Yep.
Yeah, so am I. And Drew is such a sweet, nice man too. You know, he's always been there for me. He sent me a really nice text today or yesterday. So love Drew, love hanging out with him, and I'm ready to spend a week with him in Nashville.
Yeah, I was super impressed when Coleman and I went up there to KS Bar a few months back, and he stuck around for 15 or 20 minutes and talked to us. And we talked about the Massville North Hopkins mascot, which actually is basically a mop. So that's the inside joke. We call him the Massville Mops. So, but it was good talking to him.
It was, and speaking of KSR, that's actually where I met Freddie about a year ago at a KSR remote. It was the one, I believe, at the Marriott Griffin Gate. I ran into Freddie, and he was super nice to me and got to sit down and talk to me a little bit about getting my doctorate in trumpet, which is probably something we won't talk that much about tonight. But we did talk.
Did he say, like everyone else? Did he say you can do that?
Yeah, I think that was pretty much.
No, I was actually, I was probably. I go to so many things, it's tough to remember them all, but I think I was just really impressed that somebody could be that good at an instrument, and I can't even tune the radio. So I think that's probably where the conversation went.
Well, I try. Kate and I are both trumpet players, so we're putting our trumpet degrees to use here by doing a sports podcast.
Well, you got to do what you got to do.
Some days we feel like we can't tune a radio either, so we don't know what we're doing trying to play a trumpet. So it's just day to day.
I think Drew flunked English at UK 3 or 4 times. So, I mean, we all have our backgrounds and stories.
Well, that's very true. But Freddie, I just wanted to give you a chance. First of all, just tell us a little bit of, basically your life story. I think when we had Corey Price on, he started at birth, which you don't have to do that. But, you can tell us just a little bit about you and just sort of your background a little bit to where you are now.
So. Yeah, I'm a type of guy that I don't like to look backwards. My best day is tomorrow. So after today, but yeah, I'm from the mountains. I mean, 3 counties in the mountains that you associate with is Perry and Letcher and Harlan, and went to UK to play football. Got drafted by Kansas City to play baseball. And the deal I had was after I got the starting position that I can play both, and then I had a couple surgeries, and that was it. But played at UK. Then after college, I joined the Army and spent a bunch of years in and around the Department of Defense. Retired from that, moved on from that, however you want to say it. And Matt Jones called me. I was in Florida getting ready to be on a cruise ship, and he called me and asked me if I would write an article for KSR. And I didn't give him an answer. I said, well, I'll think about it and let you know when I get back, walking up the thing, So long story short, I called him, and then, I was part-time for a long time. And then he brought me on full-time. That's where I've been. And I enjoy it. I enjoy the people. Tyler is our editor, and she's not on air a lot or on camera a lot, but she's one of my favorite people on earth. I mean, not just with what she does for me, because I imagine the stuff I send to her looks like it's in crayon, and then she fixes it up and does everything. So, and Drew and Nick and Adam, Zach, Jack, Steven. I mean, it's just a team of people that I deeply care about, and I know that care about me, and that's what makes it special. is that we're all in this together. Here it is. What's today? Sunday? No, it's Saturday, right?
Yeah, it's
Or
Friday.
Friday.
Okay.
It's Friday. Yeah. Doesn't
so
feel like it, but
here we are Friday at 7:00, and I just spent 3.5 hours writing my Tennessee preview story for SEC Media Days. So I have to do 14 of those before we leave on Sunday or Monday. And I've got all 14 done. It's taken me a couple weeks because I'm not very fast anymore at what I do. So I'm just trying to put together, here's the team overview, offense, defense, best player on both, most important player on both, schedule, how's that look, how I ranked them, and then it's just it's a process. And I know a lot of people see what we do and they think, man, that's got to be just fun all the time. But they're not sitting here on a Friday researching Tennessee for 3 hours. Hey, listen, I'm not working in a coal mine, so I'm not complaining. But it takes more work than you would imagine to write for a website full time.
They probably think that when they hear musicians, they're like, "Oh, it must be so nice. You get to play music and orchestra."
No,
and then Coleman's over here playing long tones for like.
Yeah, no, I don't miss a recital of my daughter, so I understand.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's right. Is she violinist?
Viola.
Okay.
I don't know what that is, but that's what she plays. So
well, there we go. Woodford County, right? Is that?
Yeah.
Is that, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we've had concerts here at the school, and then they had something at UK where they had to get certified or verified or something. I don't know. That was pretty neat to watch. But yeah, she practices here in the house, and she could be good, bad. I don't know. I think she's the best on the planet because she's my daughter. But it's fun to watch her grow in that world.
Hey, I'm sure she is good. But you're talking about all the work you're putting in, with KSR writing and all the podcasting. I don't think there's anybody that I know outside of Mark Stoops that knows more about the Kentucky football team than you. So I think the question everybody wants to know this year is the offensive line going to be better this year than it was last year? I think. Well, absolutely. I think if we had, any kind of Mark Stoops offensive line that we've had in years past, last year we could have won 9-10 games easily. So, what do you foresee happening this year with that?
I think it's actually a blessing in disguise that the offensive line wasn't good, because Mark would have been put in a difficult situation of winning 9-10 games. And do you still fire the coordinator?
Oh, right. Well,
obviously he wasn't getting it done. I mean, I don't know this for a fact. One thing I do, I talk to a lot of young people that are getting into this racket. I have an intern, Lizzie Spedding, who's just terrific. She's killing it. And, I said, everybody's got their style. So my style is what happens in the locker room stays in the locker room. And I think that goes back to when I played. So I don't know any inside. I know, but maybe I don't say it. But the offense is too complicated, too wordy, too clunky, too gathered. It just wasn't right from the first snap to the last. And then something else went bad. Sorry about that. My dog's chewing my chair. Something else went bad. I think at the Ole Miss game, because something snapped in that game, and Kentucky was never the same. Did beat Florida, which was a good win, but just wasn't quite there. And it progressively got worse. And it was all about the offensive line. I mean, I felt so sorry for Horsey having to kick out the tackle. That's not his natural position, but he's a team first guy. The center, he's from in-state too. Eli Cox.
Not Eli Cox. Okay.
Yeah, Eli.
Cox.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He moved to center, and then the right tackle position was bad. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat that. It was bad last year. So never got that consistency. So the offensive line was not good. And it was almost, for me, it was disturbing to watch, because I'm so used to, knew and loved John Schlarman like a brother and what he built. So I won't call them the Big Blue Wall until they show me that they're the Big Blue Wall again. So they got a lot to prove. And, I think the Burton to center move is going to work out really well and be a lot like when Luke Fortner kicked over. So I like that move. I think they, with the new tackles, they have a chance to be better, but I have to see it first before I can get overly excited about the season. It was that disturbing for me to watch last year.
That's how Caden and I are by default. We have to see it to believe it. That's how we are about Kentucky basketball a lot these days anyway.
I'm the same with Tavion Robinson. I have to see him, Tavion Robinson. I have to see him for all 13 games because he started the season on fire, then just disengaged. I don't know what the deal was, or it just didn't look like he was involved. When he was on the field, then he was off the field. So I got to see that. So that's another thing that not worries me, but your two slot receivers, Robinson, and then the kid from Douglas, Crowdus, right? He had his issues. So
right.
Or I just got to see consistency from there. I think Devin Leary is better fit for Lincoln's offense, much better actually. Than
that was my next sort of question is why do you think Devin Leary is so much better suited for Cohen's system than Will Levis?
I think because he is unlike Levis, he's accurate. I don't mean to say unlike Levis, but I'll say this. Leary is more accurate in the short to intermediate game than Will Levis ever was. I mean, Will's evaluation was tough for me because, I evaluate players differently. Freshmen, I'm not that hard on them. But if you're a senior and you're getting a bunch of name, image, and likeness money, it's free game. So I didn't see Will. Will made too many things easy look hard for me. And that's why I was like, I don't know about this. So I think that the new kid from Carolina will complete a higher percentage of passes, especially in the short intermediate game. I mean, Will Levis and the starter at Tennessee, they can throw it 80 yards in the air, but how many times do you see Milton. An 80-yard? Yeah, Milton. How many times do you see an 80-yard completion in the air? So for me, I think the short to intermediate. And I think that Leary is faster in his processing, from snap to what the defense is doing to get the football out. I just think he's going to be a much better fit than Levis was.
Well, and the key is protecting him. So that goes back to that offensive line. If we can hold up and and protect him, I think we'll be firing on all cylinders. But offense or defense, when we look back on this team this year, you think it's going to be who's going to stand out more?
Well, I mean, I've been consistent for the last 4 years, going on 5 years now of my fandom of Brad White. So I mean, the only thing that man does is produce top 5 defenses in the SEC. He was ranked second last year behind Georgia. I got this written down, so don't forget. There's been 3 teams that have finished in the top 5 of the SEC total defense in the past 4 years: Georgia, Kentucky, and Alabama. I don't think that's that's not a topic that's brought up. That's not a topic that a lot of people are aware of that are outside Lexington. But I think this will be Brad's last year at Kentucky. He's not told me anything. I don't know anything, but he's a head coach.
Well, I think a lot of people last year, thought last year might be his last year. So I think we can't take for granted. I don't think people talk about enough this coaching staff of having Mark Stoops, Vince Marrow, Liam Cohen, and Brad White. I mean, I don't think you could ask for a much better coaching staff than that.
No, I don't. And especially on defense with Stoops providing can you hear my animals making too much noise? Man, I love animals. I can't help it.
No, it's fine.
I would have 100 of them if I could.
No, we welcome them.
My puppy's got a teddy bear running around shaking it. She's proud of herself. Yeah. But now having Stoops overwatch the defense, having Brad White, and then you can't overlook Stoops' brother's a linebackers coach who was a coordinator and a head coach. So you got 3 coordinators on that side of the football. I mean, that's pretty good. And Kentucky's done, Mark has done, and Vince, all of them, done such a wonderful job of bringing in talent and developing them. Kentucky is in the top 5 in the country. I think, I got this written down too. Top 5 in the country are producing 3-star or less players that are drafted in the first round. So Josh Allen, 2-star. Jamin Davis, 3-star. Bud Dupree, 2-star. So I mean that's impressive, and that's what. So I'm going defense. I mean that's a no-brainer for me.
Well, you mentioned those 2 other top 3 defenses, Georgia and Alabama. Unfortunately, we got to play both of them this year. You think there's any chance we win either one of those games, and which one would be more likely?
Alabama will be more likely. Beating Georgia down there is nearly impossible.
Yeah.
Even though people are going, they can read if they want what I write about Georgia and all the other teams this week coming up, but I see more questions about Georgia this year than I've seen in the last couple of years. I don't think people are talking enough about losing. I got this written down too. Todd Monken and Stetson Bennett IV. Those 2 are magical together. Magical. Mm-hmm. Mike Bobo. I mean, have we forgotten that he was South Carolina's offensive coordinator for a while? I mean, he wasn't good when he's called plays recently. Now, he may have been innovative earlier at Georgia and out west, but I'm just not impressed by that hire. I know he's a former player, and I know probably a teammate of Smart, but, man, you go from Monken to Bobo, that's a significant drop in my eyes. And then Stetson Bennett, I didn't disrespect him, but I didn't think that he could win the title in his first year to being – he was a dude. I mean, Georgia offensively – with Monken and calling those plays and all the talent, and Bennett went from, okay, don't be a liability and fumble, let the defense win games, to that offense is going after the jugular like we saw against Texas in the national championship game when they beat the brakes off them. So I think losing those 2 is really going to affect Georgia a lot. So I think there are vulnerabilities there that we've not seen before.
Well, they still got that tight end, though, right? He's still there. I'm forgetting his name.
Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers, yeah.
And Georgia's schedule is about like 4A high school in the state of Kentucky. I mean, it is ridiculous,
Yeah.
But, hey, the schedules are made a long time in advance, but they won't get tested probably until I got it right here. They go to Tennessee on November 18th. Kentucky will test them. But as far as a serious road, and we could lose this game, Kentucky could go down there and beat them. I don't know, but that's going to be the tough one for them.
Well, I don't think it's crazy that we could go into Georgia undefeated. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but you got the 3 non-conference games, then at Vandy, and then you get Florida at home. I think it's very possible we could go into to Georgia undefeated. So
I would go stronger than possible. It needs to be that, I'm not looking past Vanderbilt, to be quite honest with you. Because
nope.
I'm a Clark Lee guy.
Yep.
I love that. I mean, I hate him. I don't hate him, but I'd rather watch paint dry than hear him at the podium at media days.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think he's a fantastic man and coach. And he's done a tremendous job there, going, 5-7. This is the first year I can remember doing this in a long time that, the 7th place team in the East wasn't just an automatic fill-in Vanderbilt. He made me think about it this year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I guess so. Kind of wrapping up here. We'll let we won't hold you up too long here. But Caden, do you have any? You have any pressing questions you want to ask Freddie before we?
Yeah, well, obviously, I'm not the football guru on this show.
That's what I was going to say.
I'm more of a basketball fan, so that's why. I mean, I enjoy listening to your.
Is that NASA behind you there? What is that?
Is that
no, that's the men's basketball locker room.
Oh, the locker room, yeah.
Okay.
With the 2012
I thought it was NASA
banner up there.
Yeah.
No, but So going back, the first thing that stood out to me with your story is you said that you got drafted and then you got injured, and then you ended up working for the cruise ship or whatever, and then Matt Jones called you up. And it stood out to me because I guess I think about my own experience. I went to school for trumpet, and then I took a job doing something else, and I'm in IT. So it's interesting how our paths changed and everything. So I can't imagine being in your situation, quarterback for UK, and then you got injured. I'm sure that like devastated you at the time.
It
But you probably
did.
look back now and you're like, man, if that didn't happen and this didn't happen, then I end up working
Yeah.
for KSR. So can you take us through like
You know,
your mindset during those times and just that
yeah,
experience?
I don't regret a minute. You know what somebody told me this morning. It's like The Godfather. We live the life we choose, you know, so injuries are part of it. And I've had a bunch of them. Some you can see, some you can't. And, you know, it's the life I chose, and I don't regret 1 second of it. But my issue probably was being from the mountains and kind of my personality. I don't back down from a fight, and I played through stuff that I should not have played through. I had a separated throwing shoulder, and played against Georgia. I mean, I separated it like a week or two before, and I was on the sideline with no expectations. I didn't have thigh pads in, didn't have my mouthpiece. I didn't know where my helmet was when my backup got hurt. And then the coach come over and asked, said, "Can you go?" And I said, "Hell yeah, give me the ball, man." I didn't even have my helmet. I had to borrow somebody's helmet. Then we 2 minutes down the field and we beat Georgia, and it was a big celebration. But I was out there with a separated throwing shoulder, you know, in a 2 minute situation. And that's kind of, I was never I was a very average SEC quarterback. I'm very secure with myself to say that. But one thing I was tough, and, you know, was that a wise decision? I don't know. I never slid. I never went out of bounds. And, you know, people don't realize this. I played strong safety my first year at Kentucky. So I was a football player that they asked to play quarterback, and, you know, it turned out good. But injuries are part of the game. You know, the best ability is availability, and you know, attrition is a part of the season. I was disappointed because baseball was actually my better sport. And when I got hurt my sophomore year, during or after, you know, there were some NFL lists as far as sophomores, and I was top 2 or 3 as far as draft projections. And then, boom, you know, we were down in Chapel Hill. I'll never forget. I can remember stuff a long time ago. It's the recent stuff that escaped me. We ran a bootleg to my left, and I pulled up. And you're never, as a right-handed quarterback, supposed to pull up rolling to your left. That's dangerous. And I did, because I saw a receiver downfield, and I pulled up and I threw, and the Carolina guy hit me in my armpit, separated my shoulder. Then his helmet carried on and hit me in the jaw and gave me a concussion in the same play. So I'm laying on I don't know if you've ever been to Chapel Hill, but it's beautiful. There's trees, and it is gorgeous. Anyway, you know, Carolina blue, they had their stuff on in the fans, and it kind of looked like the clouds. And the athletic trainers, Al Green and Sue Stanley, came out. And I said, I finally came to. You know, I was out cold. Unfortunately, there's been many of them. But I asked Al, I said, "Am I dead?" You know, because I looked up and I could see these clouds and the people moving around. It looked like clouds to me. I said, "Am I dead? You know, am I in heaven? Is this it?" And then Al Green came over. I said, "No, because you wouldn't be in heaven. You'd be in hell. So I must be alive." So you know, it's things like that you remember. But, you know, I probably played through stuff, you know, and that started young for me. I broke my arm the first snap I played in high school football, played the rest of the game. And then my last high school football game, I broke my arm in the second drive of the game and didn't tell anybody. And the coach taped my wrist up and put taped an aspirin to my wrist and said, "Don't tell anybody because we don't have a backup." So, I mean, that was kind of the way I approach sports. Same thing with baseball, state championship, Final Four, something of that nature. First inning, I dove and I broke my thumb. And then I ended up getting the only hit of the game when I got jammed by a dude throwing 90 plus with a broken thumb. You know, that hurt, but there's no way I would have let my teammates down. So I've always been a team first guy. Teammate is a word that is something that I take to the grave. When I was captains of various teams, that's a responsibility that I take to the grave. And to this day, I try to help as many. If a teammate needs me, I drop everything and I'm there for them. But back to the injuries, it wasn't fun, put it that way. But everything works out for a reason, and I wouldn't change a thing at all.
Well, speaking of the teammate thing you just brought up there, I just want to give you a chance to talk about your old teammate Christian Alt that just got inducted to the Hall of Fame. So
did I ever make enemies over Christian Alt? I've been preaching that for 10 years now, and they ruffle some feathers over at UK. I've heard, but I don't care. Chris got 482 tackles, 482 career tackles in 11 game seasons. That's 130 plus tackles a game. I mean, that will never be topped. His 482 will never be reached by any player from here going forward, unless the game totally changes. So I just felt that, we have a linebacker at Kentucky that is ranked 5th in the history of the SEC in tackles, and he's not in the Hall of Fame. That was tragic to me. And I just thought that, if I could help, I would. And my dog's caught up in the microphone. Watch out, Millie. Okay. That was tragically wrong to me. And, everywhere I go, if I had a chance to talk about Chris, I wrote about Chris. And I just felt that he needed to be in the Hall of Fame. He's a local kid from Lexington, a retired state police officer. Got wounded or got hurt in the line of duty. Active in the community, and he's always on the grill at the K Club. So he was a for the former player circle, Chris has been a Hall of Famer to us since the day we left, and it's just good that he's being rightly recognized years after he should have been. But he's one of the best to ever do it. I'm very happy for Chris.
Where did he go to high school in Lexington?
Henry Clay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Henry Clay.
Do some teaching over at Bryan Station this summer.
Yeah, he went to Henry Clay, and then from there, Kentucky. Then he got drafted by the Bengals and got hurt, and then went to the police academy. But I don't know if you read my story on Chris about how he committed to Kentucky. He was on a flight to Notre Dame and come back, and his plane was circling Lexington, and he saw his house and he saw Commonwealth Stadium, how close they were, and he said that was it, But that was before the star system. I'd say Chris would have been a high 4, 5-star recruit. He was that good of a football player.
I still think it should be called Commonwealth Stadium. Nothing against Kroger, though. I love Kroger. One of the things I miss the most about being down in Baton Rouge is Kroger. I seriously, you don't know you miss it till it's gone. So
I'm there. I'm at the Versailles Kroger, honestly, 3-4 times a day. I go in the morning, get my coffee, and I just, I see people I know, or I sit around the little place there and have some coffee and relax and get some fruit or whatever. Then I drink 5 of those big seltzer waters a day. I try to. I can't drink. I hate straight water, so I have to have some umph to it. So I get 5 every day there. Then I go back and, my kids will need something. So it's now you can hear it. But yeah, I go there 3-4 times a day.
Well, Freddie, thank you so much for taking the time to come on and everything. We really appreciate it. We're looking forward to football season. Looking forward to following you guys next week. I'm sure you guys are going to put on a lot of great stuff from the SEC Media Days. So I always look forward to those every year because it's like the kickoff of football season. So.
It's going to be fun. My job is to write the team previews, and I've almost got those done. And then we're going to do a bunch of videos down there. Stephen Peak, our video guys, going. Yeah. Some serious, some ridiculous, I'm sure. And Nick and Adam will get down in the weeds with stuff, and then they'll do the interview. I don't interview. That's not my role. That's not my world. But
yeah,
they'll get in there and ask questions, and For me, as a player, been there. You're rehearsed on what to say. You're going to get a standardized company line answer. I just enjoy seeing them dressed up. Seeing these players dressed up at a formal event, knowing that 1,500 media members are there to see them. I get excited for the players. To experience that is my biggest thrill.
Oh yeah,
so I'm looking forward to that.
Well, those guys too, man. Adam and Nick, especially Adam, that guy knows more than he's a genius.
Yeah, yes, he is. He works hard. We all work hard, but he, like he says, this ain't no hobby. I mean, he gets in there and studies it pretty closely. So yeah,
Well,
I hope folks follow us down there, and we're going to have a good time, and hopefully we provide some folks with some good content. And even when we write about opposing teams, we're going to have a slant of why UK fans should even think this matters. So
right.
we're writing. We're all writing about the other 13 teams, but through the eyes of a Kentucky person. So hopefully that'll help out a little bit.
Well, yeah, and since you mentioned you just got done with the Tennessee one, I did have one last question. Is Tennessee going to be the Tennessee that we saw last year? I mean, did they just strike lightning in the bottle?
Well, I'll read you my opening question here. Did Hendon Hooker make Josh Heupel, or did Josh Heupel make Hendon Hooker?
Yep.
We're going to find out.
Yep. We're going to find out really quick. Yeah.
Because, I mean, like I said earlier, Milton can throw the ball 85 to 90 yards. That's great. It's impressive athletic accomplishment, but when do you ever do that? So I've never, oohed and awed over, long passes at, in the indoor facility or something like that. That just doesn't impress me, So, I mean, can you complete the 18-yard out on the opposite hash? Can you hit the running back in stride coming out of the backfield, which is something I could not do. You've heard of what they call blocks, like the baseball player that couldn't throw the ball first base and all that stuff. I had a block about a swing pass. I could not. I would rather run and hand it off. I would take that route completely out of the progression because I knew I couldn't do it. I could split your face mask 60 yards downfield, but an 8-yard little that was a little bit too much for me.
Hey, trumpet's no different sometimes.
I was saying the exact same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's some things that just have a mental block, and that was mine. So.
Well, Freddie, we'll let you get to your grill there that you said you have. But hey, thanks so much again. We can't tell you how much we appreciate it. It means a lot that you come on the show.
Yeah, anytime, guys. Thanks for having me on. And Mississippi State's up next, so I'm looking forward to reading about those guys a little bit. I think it's going to be an emotional year for them.
Yeah.
But I love Starkville. I mean, that's one thing that nobody else on KSR does. But I love Starkville. The fans are great. I don't like the Cowboy Bells, but I like the small town. I like everything about Mississippi State. And I like how their new head coach is not sometimes head coaches that replace a legend, in the unfortunate death of Mike Leach, who I was a huge fan of, by the way.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
But I've read a little bit about State, and Zach Arnett was his defensive coordinator, and he's not going to change the offense is going to change, but I mean, they're going to still have the sword and the pirate and stuff like that, and pay homage and respect to Mike Leach. And
absolutely.
As an analyst, I give Mississippi State a pass this year. I mean, even though they got a great quarterback and, a defensive tackle's been there 17 years like Stetson Bennett. So, I mean, but it's going to be so emotional and tough for those fans. And, my number one concern is always the players and the kids. That's it. Coaches are grown folk, administrators are grown folk. But my concern is always around the student athlete. And that's going to be tough for them. And I wish them the absolute best besides when they play Kentucky.
Hey, you're going down to Mississippi on vacation, I hear, according to your last podcast. So
yeah, absolutely.
I've been over that way a little bit. Yeah, you can't speed in Mississippi. I've been pulled over twice in my life, and they both been in Mississippi. So
I only vacation in SEC states, and I refuse to vacation in Florida. So I'll go to Mississippi's my go-to. I love that Gulf Coast. That's my place. But yeah, I love it down there. I've been several times, and it's kind of just my place to get away and read a couple books, and I won't even think about football for a couple of days. And then we get back. It's 6 to 7 days a week until mid-January for us. So it'd be good to get away and charge and come back and be ready to roll.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, enjoy your vacation. Enjoy your game tonight. So,
all right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Okay.
Absolutely. Well, that was great, Caden. Hey, Freddie's probably the most famous person we've had on the show so far.
Yeah, for sure. Man, I can't imagine having to learn all that about every SEC team. Like I don't even know, like basketball is like my sport, and that would be tough to do for basketball. I'm sure it's so time consuming writing those articles and learning about all those teams. Man.
Absolutely. I can't imagine. We got some people down in the comments here. Didn't mean to ignore your comments. We just wanted to get as much as we could out of Freddie while he was on. Brad Harvey's in the comments. He said, "Great guest, guys." Josh Hart says, "What's up?" Clyde says, "Hey," who also agrees that Mississippi State gets a pass. And yeah, it was great having. It is funny, he's talking about the block, mental block of throwing a swing pass. That applies to a lot of stuff. The more people we interview on the show, the more we talk about this stuff, the more I realize, a lot of this applies to trumpet too. So
yeah, everything. I like some of those simple, sometimes the easier it is, the harder it is on trumpet.
It's like playing Arbin number 11,
Yeah, you play it fast, you don't have to think about it, but play it slow, you think about every single second. So yeah, mental blocks for sure.
Brad says no idea what that would be like trying to cover all the teams. Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, just Kentucky, and we just by default know a lot about Kentucky because we're Kentucky fans. But imagine taking somebody like Vanderbilt. I know nothing about Vanderbilt.
Is he being sarcastic there? Because that's kind of what he does with his podcast.
Well, yeah, sure, but I guess there could be some sarcasm there. But
we just do brackets and laugh. That's what we do.
we don't do the hard stuff. So Claude says we doing calls. Yes, we are doing calls. Just about to open up the phone line because if it works. We do know that there's some basketball going on too. The first part of the show is all about football because just that's what it was. But we do realize that that we beat the crap out of Canada yesterday, in Cody Peebler's words. Which
never thought I'd hear that sentence. We beat the crap out of Canada.
Beat the crap out of Canada, yeah. And we didn't even need Brennan Canada to beat the crap out of Canada. So, 502-234-1504. Give us a shout. We'd love to hear.
He's already given us a shout.
Well, nice. There we go. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the on Freddie's interview or any basketball thoughts or questions and any of that. So. I think we got Clyde on the phone.
Is this Clyde?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. How you all doing? I didn't even know you guys were even live. When I read the post the other day, I thought it said 8:00, and I was like, okay, I must have misread it.
Hey, that's all right. That's why we leave them up. You can go back and listen.
Yeah, Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
Because I definitely got to listen to the conversation that y'all with Freddie Mac. I absolutely love Freddie Mac. I like his old school country vibe. I really like the guy. I mean, I've known about him for a while. I watch him on 11 Personnel all the time with him, Drew, Adam, and Nick Roush, and that crew does a fantastic job. I don't think we could have asked for a better football crew to cover the sport. They are, they really get down into it. And, man, I appreciate all of them. I love every single one of them and really enjoy their analytic and their intelligence of the game,
Yeah, I appreciate the comment he made about KSR being so much more. There's so much more behind it. Like those posts that we see, like I bet that's true. I bet it really feels like a full-time job because
Kate and I get jealous of Drew Franklin a lot because we feel like that would be the life, and I'm sure he loves what he does, but I'm sure it's a lot more work than we see on the surface.
I'm sure there's headaches. I'm sure there are.
Oh, I love Drew Franklin. That's my guy. Him and Ryan, they're my two favorites out of the whole KSR crew, like between Matt Jones, Shannon, Drew, and Ryan. Drew and Ryan are like my two favorites. I like Ryan's, personality. Even though he's getting older in life, he still can party. And I just like Drew, and I just like these guys. And but you was mentioning like basketball, and man, I tell you, I love this team. I absolutely enjoy watching them play. Reed Shepherd, I'm telling you, he is a difference maker. He is going to steal people's minutes this season. I'm telling you this right now. Mark it down. And if nobody believes me, I might have to drive to your house, like what Tim said, and have a one-on-one conversation, because this kid is just flat out a baller.
Yeah, he's a lot more athletic than I thought he was going to be, honestly. Like, he's all over the floor, and he plays solid defense. He's getting all those runaway steals and dunks. So.
Well, and I wanted to say something about that. You know, I thought that defense was like the one question about Reed Shepherd that everybody had. But that, I think, from what I've seen in just 2 games, that's been his best attribute. I think he's been the best defender out there.
He's long. He's really long for his position and size, really. Like, his arm, his wingspan's really long. But yeah, we play. Who do we play on Saturday? We play Africa.
Africa. Yeah, I don't know why, but it just sounds weird to say that we're playing these countries. Like, who we playing today? Germany. You know,
it's funny how we're USA.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, Reed, he's just a dog, man. He really is. Him and DJ. Oh, I love DJ. Oh man, he's probably gonna be between, I don't know. Reed and DJ are my front runners for my 2 favorite freshmen so far. And we're doing all this without our 7-footers. And just imagine when they come back and get healthy and stuff. Man,
yeah, I don't know if these international teams have the length of some of these teams we're going to have to be playing. So I'm hesitant. Like, I think we've done well without the big man, but I'm hesitant to really say we're going all the way yet.
I wonder, you know, Cody Peebler was texting us the other day in our group chat here, who's in the comments that said "Go Cats," saying that we're playing a modern offense, which I think we kind of are or have been playing modern offense the past couple of games because we've kind of been forced into it because we don't have any length. So I wonder if it's going to mess us up when we add more length. I mean, I don't want to be a pessimist, but I just wonder if that's going to throw a wrench in some of the shooting, because we're taking a lot of threes, which I like, but I just wonder if we're going to keep doing that, you know.
Reeves is throwing them up.
I see what you mean. It might throw us off because, you know, we kind of got a little bit of a rotation now playing a little small ball, and it's been a lot of fun. So I see what you mean, like when, you know, Bradshaw and Uganda get healthy again and get back in the rotation. I do see where you're coming from, but then again, I think that they'll be fine. I think, you know, them coming back is going to help us definitely defensively, because Uganda is a rim protector and Bradshaw's a good defender too. So it's just going to help us a lot. And I love Trey Mitchell. I mean, that kid can shoot. And just really like this team. I'm really excited for this season. And I wish all of us got an invite to Drake's house. I mean, come on now. No,
I did like that video. I need to try to find that to play in the show. That was a pretty swaggy Cal video he posted. Is that what Brad's talking about here with Cal has the biggest flex in college basketball history today? Hanging out at Drake's house? It's got to be. I mean, what else could he have done today that would have been a bigger flex than posting a selfie in Drake's pool?
Yeah. Are you trying to share that? Are you trying to share that post on Talk Kentucky that Cal made? Like, I guess what you have to do is go to his page, look for it, and then share it to the Talkin' Kentucky page, because that's how I did it. That's how I found it.
Oh, yeah. I'll share it.
Because we got to share our screen or download the video or whatever.
I thought it was funny, like him trying to hold that camera, and it was just funny. But I think he's back. I think he's found his mojo, and he's going to prove everybody wrong this year. Just watch. So that's all I got to say.
Well, I hope so, for sure. But yeah, Claude, go back and listen to the Freddie interview, because it was a lot of fun. He gave a lot of great info. It was awesome.
Yes, I definitely, for sure, because I like I said, I thought you all came on at 8, but it threw me off. I didn't know you guys were live until Josh sent me the message, sent me the live. I was like, oh, they're live. Let me go. Like, you know, but I definitely want to listen to what Freddie said, because I love listening to him talk. And I think, you know, he's a really cool dude and just down to earth guy and good people. So,
yeah, absolutely. It was really good. Clyde, thanks for calling in, and hope you have a good weekend, and go Cats.
You too, guys. Be careful.
See you.
All right.
What do you think he's telling us to be careful from? He has been saying that recently. Be careful. I don't know. I don't know if I should be worried that something's going to happen. I need to be careful about something.
Yeah, I honestly can't tell you, but I guess it's kind of him to say.
be careful with all the swag that we have, with how good our basketball team is. Guess that's what he's saying.
I guess in today's world, you gotta be careful. So
yeah, no matter what. Yeah. We have cocaine in the White House, so yeah, you gotta be careful out there. 502-234-1504. Give us a shout. Speaking of basketball, Caden, we were talking earlier. I'm happy that we beat the crap out of Canada, but I'm not sure that I haven't seen it yet. I'm not going to be convinced in these off-season games, even though these teams that we're playing right now are better than Mega B-Max in the Bahamas. Like, I still think I'm going to have to see it to believe it in the regular season, and more specifically, SEC play. I think we're just going to have to wait a little longer before I can be completely on board.
I think it's a totally different animal whenever we get into SEC play. I think the physicality and the size and everything. But, this is going to sound real obvious, but winning these games is better than losing them. So,
yeah, that's very true. It's like Cal saying you don't have to make them all, but you can't miss them all. Yeah, that's right.
And they made more in the second game than they did the first game, so that's good. But yeah, I really like I saw the highlights of the second game. I didn't stay up till midnight or whenever it was aired. Did you?
Yeah, no, I haven't watched the whole thing yet. I've just seen some highlights, but I want to go back and watch it all. I mean, we got time in between now and when the season starts. So, and we already scrimmaged Africa, right? Apparently, according to Matt Jones, we beat Africa by 20. So, I mean, if we go undefeated in this thing, that's not bad. That's winning them's better than losing, like you said. So,
yeah, it's quote of the day. But yeah, who, like, from what you have seen, who's your new starting five, like, in your mind? Is there anyone that stood out in particular to you?
Well, I like Wagner. I think Wagner needs to start. Obviously,
a safe bet.
If we assume that if we go on the other end of the starters, and we assume that Bradshaw's healthy, then we need to start Bradshaw and Ugonna. You think?
I would like just one of them. Seeing how this small ball's working,
Well, I could see them doing Bradshaw at the 5, doing Thiero.
Yes.
At the 4. I think Thiero needs to start. I think that's my big takeaway from these two games so far is that Thiero needs to start.
For sure. He really did grow because he looks like it. He's skying for these rebounds right now.
Yeah,
like mini Oscar out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think Bradshaw, Thiero, put Wagner at the 1. I think Reed Shepherd needs to be in there, and Edwards maybe. Edwards or Dillingham.
Is that 5 or 6?
That's 5. I think. Well, if we could start 6, that'd be great. But let's do Wagner, Shepherd, Edwards, Thiero, and Bradshaw, maybe.
Yeah, I think I agree with most
would you
that.
put Dillingham in there instead of Edwards?
I think I would put Dillingham, Wagner, Reeves, Thiero, and Bradshaw. Can you imagine having that Reed Shepherd spark off the bench?
Reed Shepherd would be a good 6-man, but with the way, I mean, if he plays like he did yesterday against everybody, it's hard not to start him. But that being said, I don't think Cal will start him, just because I don't think Cal necessarily makes the best decisions all the time. I don't know if we made that clear on the show yet, but no, I think that'd probably be my starting 5. But yeah, my big takeaway is that Thiero needs to start, because I just think he hustles more than anybody else. Like, and we've been pressing in these games, which why don't we do that all the time?
I don't know.
That's what those Patino teams used to do. Yeah, let's just. It's like, why not? We've gotten some success out of it. Obviously, the Reed steal, throwing it to Wagner for the jam. So
another thing I've noticed is people might not agree with this, but I really like the Dillingham, like, street ball, all the crossovers, step backs, just throwing them up. Like, it gives me flashbacks to the John Wall teams.
It does. It's like, still not quite, still doesn't quite look like the John Wall teams out there. Yeah. But yeah, that's the kind of ball we need to. That's like the Cal ball.
Yeah. That's the random that he says. Yeah.
Yeah.
Play random.
Yeah.
Play street ball.
Positionless basketball or whatever.
Get open. get open kind of thing. Yeah.
Get open. That'd be good if we got open. So is Canada supposed to be the best team out of the three up there?
I think so. I mean, I don't think it was Germany.
No, but you see that Germany player said that USA team isn't very good, which I don't know. I don't know if that's accurate.
Before or after we beat them.
That was after we beat them, which I thought was kind of funny. They did make a lot of threes though. Germany was. I don't know how much of that game you watched, but they were
lighting it up.
I think they had like 15 threes or something. It's crazy.
That's all they did.
Yeah. It's like the Kansas State game. It seriously reminded me of the Kansas State game. They just kept hitting everything.
We weren't really guarding them though, to be fair.
No.
Kind of like the Kansas State game.
Yeah, that's true. But pressing, Adu starting. Still think running a zone might be good. If we did some of those things, that'd be good. But anybody else wants to call in? 502-234-1504. Would love to hear from you. I didn't want to, I won't say waste time because our holidays are important, but I wanted to spend as much time as we could with Freddie while he was on. So I didn't do the holidays yet, but we'll do them now. It is National French Fry Day, which I feel like one of our shows, I think it was with Morgan, was called Talkin' Fries. We had the conversation about who had the best French fries.
You said Wendy's, didn't you?
I think it was Wendy's, which I actually did have Wendy's fries yesterday. So that Wendy's is up there. Who has we talked about who had the best fries. Who has the worst fries that you've ever had? Think of it, because I think I know my answer. Actually, might be a little controversial, but
the worst fries.
Yeah, the worst fries. What are some bad qualities in fries?
I don't know. There's not soggy, probably overcooked.
Clyde's having fries tonight.
I can't think of a specific restaurant who has bad fries. I mean, there's lots that have average fries.
See, for me, Cane's are bad fries. I don't like any of the crinkle cut fries. I can't think of a single place that has crinkle cut fries that are good, mainly because they're soggy. I don't know they have any taste to them or anything. I think that Cane's without cane sauce would be terrible. I think the sauce is what makes it.
Do you like the chicken?
It's okay, but without the sauce, it would just be average, I think. I mean, it's fresh, but it doesn't have any flavor to it.
So what tier did we say Cane? Do we even have Canes on our tier list?
I think we did have Canes on the tier list. I think we put it in the A tier. I believe.
Yeah, they weren't super. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was. But Clyde's having fries tonight, and he says McDonald's cold fries are the worst.
That's true.
I would say that any cold fries would probably not be ideal.
I like Whataburger's fries with the spicy ketchup, but once again, the ketchup is what makes
ketchup's what makes it. Yeah, I like McDonald's fries though. They have that kind of crispiness on the outside and everything. So Freddie's been off the show for 20 minutes, and we're already talking about French fries. We were talking about the starting O-line for Kentucky a minute ago.
I wasn't, but
yeah. Well, I was wondering if when he was talking, because there was some stuff that even went over my head. I'd forgotten about Mike Bobo, who Mike Bobo was. He was like, "Have we forgotten that Mike Bobo left?" And I was like, I forgot. I guess I did forget. Yeah. So
what would you do? What would you have done if I did all this research for 3 hours and just came in here and just
I would have been impressed
with Freddie. I should have done that maybe next time.
Yeah, I would have been impressed. Your mom says Scott Holmes said sweet potato fries.
I'm not a big fan. I'm not the biggest fan of sweet potatoes, but sweet potato fries are actually really good.
Yeah, especially
you can buy them frozen.
The waffle fry variety. Waffle fry sweet potatoes are pretty good.
Oh, I've never done that. I've never gotten that. No.
Yeah, gotta do that. Clyde says, when we lost to Kansas State, I was glad the season was over because that team was so inconsistent. I feel like this year's team will be more consistent. Yeah, and I love Oscar, but that's another takeaway for me watching these past couple games is I think it might actually be beneficial that we don't have Oscar anymore, just because I feel like we couldn't space the floor. We couldn't be the kind of Cal team that we needed to be with Oscar playing. We've got a lot of rebounds, but I just feel like with the personnel we had, it just wasn't really working. the way that it needed to compete with teams like Alabama that are putting up, 33, 30, 43s a game. So
I can see that, but I'll always be a Cal fan I will always be an Oscar fan with his 20 something rebounds a game. I don't think we're going to have anyone this year. I think Thiero will get way more rebounds than what anyone will realize.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to have a problem with rebounds. No, I think Uganda is going to be a good rebounder, honestly. I mean, he's got length too. He's a good shot blocker last year. I mean, that's what I remember.
Hopefully he bulked up a little bit. Hopefully Brady got him right over the summer.
I'm sure Brady got him right. There's no doubt. So yeah, there's no doubt with that. Which Maggie Davis can speak to Brady getting people right, because she did a story on Brady. I remember.
Yeah. Was there a video with that?
Yeah. She went and kind of got the rundown of the UK basketball strength and conditioning with Brady. So speaking of guest and Maggie, I think Maggie's going to come on the week after next. It sounds like it's at some point. So we'll be sure to put out the details and the times about that, so everybody knows ahead of time and when she's going to come on the show. So next week will probably be all natural, all normal. But the week after next is when we'll probably have Maggie on, because the SEC media days are next week, and all the UK media people will be busy doing that. So she'll likely come on next week. So that'll be good to have her on too. We'll be thinking about some questions for Maggie, and maybe she can tell us all the ins and outs of Brady Welsh and the team. I honestly think Maggie has done more interviewing with the guys on the team than anybody lately, because there's not a lot of people that get access to Cal and the players.
No, and she's been doing it for 2 or 3 years now.
Yeah, so it'll be good to have her on. Another KSR former employee. Well, I guess Freddie's a current employee, but another KSR person. Clyde says she got engaged. She did indeed get engaged.
Newly engaged. Yep.
Yeah, I saw that. I was actually getting ready to text her to ask when might be a good time for her to come on. And as soon as I opened Instagram, her engagement pics were the first thing I saw. So I was like, well, and she just posted them. So I said, I'll give her a minute. I won't ask right now. Let her at least enjoy the engagement before I ask her to come on my podcast. It's National Mac and Cheese Day today. Another carb. So you can get your fries and your mac and cheese. Just load up in your carb.
Yeah, that's an all-around meal right there.
Yep, it's all the foods in the food pyramid there. I'm not sure what this one means. It's National Break Free from the Big Three Day. And it looks like the big three are bad habits, relationships, and stale mobile plans.
I've never heard those three things together. So
I don't know about the third one, but I can definitely, bad habits, bad relationships. I can be all for getting out of those.
Those are good. That's good advice. Those first two.
Yeah, that's definitely good. Well, anybody else that wants to call in, we'll do sort of the last call for calls here before we start to wrap up. 502-234-1504. We got Clyde, Josh, Brad Harvey in the comments. Josh probably out door dashing. Caden, what do you think? He's probably he's been on the DoorDash run lately.
Yeah, so that side hustle going.
Yeah, it's good.
Dave Ramsey would be proud.
He would. Yeah, baby steps and every dollar. You think Dave Ramsey would sponsor our show?
I'm gonna go with the no on that.
Okay. Okay. Why not? Because we're trumpet players.
Well, if we could prove that we have done all 7 baby steps, maybe.
Well,
I
we're
don't
not
think
dead.
Either one of us. Yeah, that gets us past 1 or maybe 2.
Yeah, so that's good. That's a good start. But
we have to pay off a house first, maybe.
You have to buy a house first. Yeah.
Well,
our last episode, he'd be proud of us on our last episode making fun of the overpriced houses. I think that would be a good thing to put in an application for him to sponsor us. So
yeah, you can add your portfolio, so we can just add that clip.
Well, I wanted, speaking of sponsors, I wanted to slip in the Kroger, take there with Freddie, because I think Kroger is a big sponsor of the KSR football stuff. So, wanted to talk about that a little bit. Maybe Kroger can slip us slip us a sponsorship. Not really. I don't know how many podcasts Kroger can manage these days, but I am a big, regardless if Kroger sponsors us or not. I'm a big Kroger fan. They have everything there. I seriously, you don't realize how you take groceries for granted until you go somewhere else. You got to find a new regular grocery, and you're not used to them, and they run out of stuff. Louisiana just doesn't have the same selection you can get here in Kentucky. So,
yeah, Texas, I had a Kroger basically right across the street. So I was still lucky enough to have one there. But down there, everyone used, it's escaping me. What's the big?
It's HEB, I think.
HEB, yeah. Everyone used HEB, but that was like 20 minutes away from me when I could literally just drive 2 minutes and do my Kroger pickup. So I didn't even do it down there.
HEB might be the only thing that beats Kroger in my book. I love some HEB. I moved to Texas for HEB, I think. So, well, guys, if nobody else wants to call in, and we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. But if anybody else has any thoughts, questions, anything from the basketball team the past few days, or for any football questions that you have from the Freddie interview. If you're just now joining us, if you missed the first part of the show, we had Freddie Maggard on, and we had a great interview with him. He put out a lot of great stuff. So go back and be sure to go back and listen to that on either Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We'll put that up on podcast right after the show, and then we'll leave this video up on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. You can go back and watch it there too. So be sure to check that out, because that was really great. So, thanks, guys, for checking us out as always. So we'll give you the rundown here. Give us a like and a follow on Facebook, and you can follow us and rate us on all the podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts there. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, which I think we're up to 19 subscribers on that. So we're slowly, building that. So, go ahead and give us a follow on there. Then you can become a supporter of Talkin Kentucky and get a nice, cool Talkin Kentucky coffee mug. I saw Caden, your mom, got one in the mail. So
yes, she did.
Yeah. So they look good. The blue pops on there. It's white, blue and white. I mean, it's
a very white mug, and the blue pops.
Well, that's how you do it. So you can click that link in the comments down there below to learn how you can get one of those. And Danny Morris is in the comments here. He says, "Great show, go Cats." Who we named our last episode after, Talking Danny, who always is in the comments at the end saying "Go Cats," and it's no different today with that comment.
Consistency.
Consistency. That's what we need in all our athletics programs too. So if we can be consistent as we have been in these two Global Jam games, then I think we'll be all right when the basketball season comes around. So, what time's the game tomorrow?
I haven't even thought that far ahead, honestly.
I haven't either. Yeah, maybe we should find that out. I don't even know.
Hopefully it's not like one of those airing at midnight again kind of games.
Yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully it's actually on TV. We can check it out. But Caden, is it Talking Freddie, talking football? You got any thoughts?
Talking Freddie. Let's do Talking Freddie.
Talking Freddie makes sense. I think that we could have named that one before the show even started. So, well, for Coleman Scott, for Caden Holmes, for Freddie Maggard, for Kroger, and
sweet potato fries.
Yeah, sweet potato waffle fries, more specifically. This has been episode number 60 of Talking Kentucky, and we'll see you next time. Go Cats.
Go Cats.